I want to talk to you about Johnny Jones, your Johnny Jones, your child, your children, those unique individuals on the planet who are your children. I want to talk to you relative to understanding who they are from what was called a gestalt perspective, meaning simply that your child is more than simply a sum of his pieces. You know, you can make a list of 10 things describing your child. You can make a list of 100 things describing your child. You can make a list of 1,000 things describing your child. And their child is not there, right? Your child is more than simply the sum of his pieces. Now, one of the issues today is that the world, the system, if you will, is attempting to take your unique child and attempting to classify and label and restrict your child so that the society, if you will, can better define who they are and what they are. You know, the reality of that is they really can't do that. They continue to try to do it, and they do it to greater and greater and greater percentages of the population every day. They're constantly coming up with new labels, new definitions, more categories, more diseases, right, to try to define who your child is. And not only do they, what happens when they make those definitions, they are self-limiting definitions. All the labels have baggage. All of them, be it, normal, average, that's baggage I don't want my kids to have. I don't want to have any of the baggage. I want to perceive my children, and I want the world to perceive my children as being unique individuals with unlimited potential. And part of what happens with this gestalt perspective is it requires a parent, because in truth it is only the parent who knows the child the best, who is the expert on the child, who looks hopefully at all the pieces. Our job at NACD historically has been assisting the parent and helping them with that gestalt perspective by providing them with our experience and our knowledge to help them understand all of those things. But one of the things we fight as an organization all the time is that traditionally kids are looked at as their pieces and worked with as their pieces. I had an interesting experience. I took my son to an ENT, and he was feeling just in general crummy. His activity level was poor. He had a sore throat. He was congested. So I went to an ENT, took him to the ENT. The ENT looked in his ears, looked in his nose, looked in his throat, and said, yeah, he's got a bit of a red throat, and there might be some fluid in the ears. And, I had been listening to my son sleep and breathe, and, it appeared as though he had congestion in his lungs, which could be a very significant deal. And I asked the ENT, would you listen to his chest for me? And you would have thought I had shot the guy, No, I don't do that. I'm an ENT. I deal with ears, nose, and throat. I don't deal with the chest. Oh, okay. That's a pretty good representation of what goes on, and how your children are looked at in terms of pieces. And it's the responsibility of the parents to maintain that gestalt perspective of your unique child. And understand that ultimately you are responsible because you're the one who knows that complete child. Part of that responsibility is understanding as much as you can, learning as much as you can, so that you can do that job well. But you're going to constantly be confronted with people trying to do pieces and pull your child apart. Now, another aspect of this is your NACD program. Your program is a gestalt program. All right, that means is we're looking at your entire child, and looking at your entire child, we with you are trying to establish priorities. We are trying to create a hierarchy of what is most important today, and look at that in a descending order, prioritizing things based on that perspective of your child. And then the job is to look at your child within the context of your family and your life and determine there are so many hours in the day to work with your child. This is the gestalt perspective of what needs to be done. This is the hierarchy of what needs to be done. So then we create a program to fit that. All right, and what we fight all the time is we have outside influences. We have schools, we have therapists who work on pieces of your child. And that really doesn't work unless we are in a position to help coordinate all of that for you. Together, the family and NACD helps establish a perspective of where we want to go. And based on that perspective, based on the family's knowledge of their child, we attempt to design a comprehensive program that fits your child, prioritizes the pieces, utilizes the time as effectively, efficiently as we can. So we don't have things pulling apart and too much here and not enough there. That's kind of the science of trying to create the right program, which we cannot do in isolation, which we have to do with a lot of participation and input and feedback from the family, from the parents. But we can do that. So please, if you will, perceive your child from the gestalt perspective. Right? They are unique individuals, unique people on the planet. They never existed before. They will never exist again. Other similar people only have so much significance relative to what's going on with your child. And then perceive that if we are going to be doing the job for them, we need to have a program that is under an umbrella of this perspective so that the pieces all fit. And we're doing the most to guarantee that we are doing everything we can the best way it can be done to advance this child. Thanks.